Aight, party people, it's time for the comic review for February? It's February, yes. Um, Went to Heroes, our local comic store, for curbside pickup because we were still in lockdown. A bunch of turtles this month, one lonely GI Joe, and just a couple of Transformers. So it's mostly turtle heavy this month. So first up is issue 113 of the current ongoing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series. In this one, it starts off with Lita, the little white turtle mutant that's become part of the Splinter Clan. We see her as a grown-up in the future, and Renee, who is a bubbly time-traveling girl that we see in some other of the past Turtles comics and cartoons and stuff, is with her, and she steals the staff and goes back in time and confronts the turtles that we know from this series, the current time frame, and explains some stuff to them. And as this is going on, Hob has this shipment going out in a helicopter of a couple mutants that we're not sure they're in crates, and we don't really know what the deal is with them. So back to Lita. She shows up at the Splinter Clan's dojo and says, guys, it's me, Lita. And they're like, how do we know you're Lita? She's like, I know Renee, I time travel. And so they get her to kind of verify who she is and so that they can believe her. And she's like, things go wrong, you guys lose your way, and in the year 2032, all of the city has become mutants, and then the Splinter Clan and the Foot Clan fight for control over it, and this all ends up becoming basically the end of the world, right? This whole fiasco. So she's like, you guys need to stop your current course so that we can prevent this giant war and all this misery from happening. And right now, Karai's in danger of dying, and she's involved in this helicopter shipment of these, what ends up being these two large mutants. And they are the two mutants from the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles live action movie, the big snapping turtle and the big wolf. Remember those guys? Razor and I can't remember. But they look like those two guys. So it's basically the turtles preventing this future event from happening based on Lita's advice and stuff like that. And at the same time, Mikey's life as normal is going on within the dojo before this all happens. Jenica and the pig, who's the lead singer of that band, share a kiss. Ooh. And Mikey has Mona Lisa on his radio show, and their discussions of the current situation and mutant rights and all that stuff kind of reaches all the ears over Mutant City and stuff like that. So interesting episode. I love how Renee's involved because I love her from the cartoons, and I thought that was really quite a surprise ad for me in that issue. So next up, the separate Jenica series. I got issues 2, 3, and number 4. So in issue 2, it picks up right from where it left off in the debut issue. Her and this mutant guy named Ivan are fighting off these mutants that have somehow become larger and more powerful, and they're basically wreaking havoc all over Mutant City. Oh, excuse me. And they want to control these outbursts because Mutant City's getting such bad press amongst the humans, and it's just causing their situation to be even more precarious, and they want to have their own rights and be able to live among society and not be looked down upon by humanity. So they got to solve this problem of these giant mutants running amok. So her and Ivan hear these rumors about where these large mutants are coming from, so they go down into the sewers and stuff, and by the end of the issue number 2, they meet up with this group called the Shadow People or something like that, who take them captive. In issue number 3, they talk their way out of it. They kind of become friends with these people, and in the process, Jenica goes looking for the person who's rumored to be creating these monsters, and it's this weird looking mutant assassin kind of person. And so Jenica goes on this long kind of chase and fight against this person, and they end up in a business called Null Industries, I think it is, where Jenica confronts this red-skinned mutant named Null, I believe, who it's late, who is the ultimate head honcho behind this whole scheme. And so she explains her motives and stuff like that, and Jenica's like, no. So that's issues 2 and 3, and from there on, I think in issue number 4, after issue number 3, like at the end of it, it's got despite all the bad press that the Mutant City and all the mutants have been getting, it's kind of got like a Twitter stream going on the last page, and it's like, mutants, who do they think they are? They think they're people. And then there's some good comments sprinkled in, so you can see that there's actually some support for the mutants and stuff like that. So it's funny how they're taking this kind of current tack on it, where there's a lot of social media stuff within each issue showing kind of this how the mutants in Mutant City are being viewed by the humans, and how this situation is developing all takes place kind of on social media platforms, right? So then in issue number 4, Jenica can't sleep one night, so she goes out on patrol and meets this, I'm not sure what kind of, it's like an antelope or something like that. Yeah, some sort of antelope mutant, and so they get to talking, they go for coffee and stuff like that, and this mutant's like, my son, I can't see my son because my husband, whatever, won't let me see him, and you know, they're still human, they don't trust me, whatever. So Jenica's like, well, I'll go talk to your son for you and let him know that, you know, you're okay and your mom still loves you and whatever. So Jenica goes to visit this kid, and along the way she starts having flashbacks of a former mission she had when she was the human and she was a bad person, regarding a mob boss and stuff like that, and this kid is all caught up in that. And at the end of it, she returns to this antelope mutant with the kid's favorite toy or whatever, and gives it to her, and she's like, yeah, your son's okay, whatever, I told him what you told me to tell him. And then Jenica's leaves, and she's like, see you around. And then all of a sudden, on the last page or two, these kind of big gruff looking mutants come out of the shadows, and I was like, so how'd it go, boss? Right? So something sinister is going on with this mutant that has kind of, I think, played Jenica for the fool in this situation. But I suppose we won't find out just why or how much badly she played her for a fool until issue number 5 comes out. So next up, issue number 4 of the G.I. Joe Snake Eyes series. In this one, Snake Eyes is on another mission to recover another weapon, this time a hammer of some sort, and he has to face down this large polar bear and go beneath the waves and face another deity, and it's all very mystical and confusing, this Snake Eyes series. But in the end, after he acquires this hammer, the Grave Master, who's his ultimate enemy in this series, is like, thanks, you idiot, for acquiring yet another one of my items I wanted. Mwahaha! Right? And then but Snake Eyes is kind of rescued at the last second. Or not rescued, because he's not really in trouble, because he's Snake Eyes, right? But as Snake Eyes is setting to square off against Grave Master with the hammer in hand, Grave Master is suddenly blasted, and on the last frame we see these two arrive, Destro and Baroness. So we got some classic Cobra characters entering the fray, and they just helped Snake Eyes out of this situation. So I'd be interested to see where that whole development goes in issue number 5. Last up is a couple of Transformers issues. One of them I expected, one of them was a complete surprise. First up is issue 27 in the current ongoing series, the regular series called War World. That's kind of the subtitle it's had for the last couple issues. And in this one, detailed in some of the previous issues, were Wheeljack's experiences on the moon, one of Cybertron's moons that has run into some trouble and has been knocked out of orbit or whatever's going on. And So in this one, he's returned to Cybertron previously, and so a mission is mounted to go back to the moon. A number of Autobots depart within Skylinks, so it's cool to see Skylinks make an appearance, and they go up to the moon where a number of Risers, Megatron's followers, have set up shop and plan to do something nefarious with the moon. So the Autobots are basically, this is their mission to take back the moon, like make the moon great again, right? So Skylinks drops them all off, and then they have to, one team kind of engages the main forces of the Decepticons, while a couple of smaller Autobots, Gears and Cosmos and Huffer, I believe it is, kind of infiltrate the control facility or something like that. They have this separate, more covert mission, but they of course run into trouble as well. So it's just their kind of experience as they land on the moon, begin to infiltrate it and engage the Riser forces and kind of force them off of the moon and take it back, sort of thing. So cool adventure. But my favorite one by far of this whole bunch is issue number 1 of a Transformers Beast Wars reboot. I love Beast Wars. I love all the Transformers cartoons. Beast Wars was the first one, I think. Maybe the first one that was... Yeah, it must have been the first one. That was more of a computer graphics style of cartoon, which I don't like those as much as I like classic just animation, like the G1 Transformers and other cartoons like that. I still like them, but just not as much. But Beast Wars was probably one of my favorites of that style. And it was just such a different and cool take on Transformers, and had such a really unique and recognizable kind of vibe and environment and kind of tone to the series. And they had some classic characters that were part of the roster. They had some brand new characters that kind of expanded the Transformers character lexicon, or whatever you want to call it. And it was just a cool and different take on such a classic Transformers tale. So in this one, it follows kind of the same premise of, well, pretty much the same premise of the original Beast Wars, but Megatron contacts the Tri-Predacon Council, a group of 3 Predacons, about a mission he's planning on pulling off to infiltrate a science ministry on Cybertron, steal some intel, and then steal also a transwarp capable ship. The transwarp allows a ship to travel basically back in time, and I guess forwards in time too, but it can basically, it's a time traveling ship, and then warp backwards in time so they can have the safety and the time to study what's on this information that they're picking up before they decide what to do with it. So as that's happening, and the Tri-Predacon Council says, no, we don't approve this mission, but Megatron's like, it's already in action, sorry about your luck, right? So that's all happening, and in the meantime, out in space, Optimus Primal has been assigned to this basically boring research ship that's not going to really do much in terms of action, and he's kind of stewing over the fact that he's just aboard this science ship where nothing's going to be happening, and he's just going to be flying around doing measurements or readings or whatever the hell they're going to do. He wants some action, right? So as this is happening, they get contacted by Ironhide, who says, oh, Megatron just stole this transwarp ship and this scientific info, and he's planning on doing something nefarious with it, of course. So you guys are closest to him, so can you deal with it? So although I don't believe Optimus's ship is, or no, it is transwarp capable, but whatever it is, they track down Megatron and his ship and kind of piggyback on their ship as they hit the transwarp, so basically follow them back in time. So as they emerge from the transwarp, they get in of course a battle. Both ships go down, and so both ships crash land far from each other on a primeval planet Earth. And the whole premise behind Beast Wars is that when they land on Earth, it's a time of when the environment is very rich and filled with energy and whatnot, and it's too much energy. The radiation on planet Earth at that point is damaging to the Transformers. So as both the Predacons and the Primals. I think, was that what they're called, the Primals? It's been a while since I watched it, but are awakened from their crash. Their ship's computers give them these alternate beast modes that protect them from this radiation. So when they're out and about outside of the ship, out amongst Earth's environments, they're protected while they're in their beast mode. But when they transform into their robot mode, they start taking damage, and they can only maintain that mode for a certain amount of time before they risk being destroyed. So they have to change back into their beast mode. So as this issue leaves, that's just a little bit of history, but as this issue leaves off, both factions have been reawakened and given their beast modes, and Megatron's like, well, before we can figure out what to do with this info we've got and whatever we're going to do with it, we got to exterminate our enemies, because they're here too, and if we survive the crash, they probably did as well, so let's go hunting, right, sort of thing. So, and that's how that initial issue leaves off. So I don't know how long this one's going to go, but I really like that they did a Beast Wars reboot. I really like the artwork in it, and I can't wait to see, you know, where they go with it, how long it's going to last, and if it's going to follow kind of the same basic storylines as the cartoon, or if they're doing something totally different with it once it gets going. So can't wait to find out, and you of course will hear about it all the way through. Lucky you. So long.